course, I don't hold a candle to a Nobel Prize winner like Dr. Montagnier. Okay, here's how Dr. Montagnier and his team proved that water has memory. They used what's called a polymerase chain reaction, or a PCR, and the highlight here is that you must have, in order for PCR to work, supposedly you must have at least a piece of DNA to begin with in order to replicate DNA. And what's in this solution here is a catalyst called a polymerase, and then you've got the building blocks for DNA down here. These are called nucleotides. When you put the DNA in the solution, the polymerase causes the nucleotides to start self-assembling into more pieces of identical DNA, and that's how you finally catch the bad guys, as you watch on CSI or someplace like that. So basically it's used when you don't have enough DNA to start with and you want a lot more. So here it is. After you added a piece of DNA, it assembles into these extra strands of DNA. Again, no DNA, you cannot cause the PCR to work, and the chain reaction will not go off, supposedly. Well, here's what the Montagnier team did. They used a type of scanner to pick up the electromagnetic field from a certain, I forgot what disease organism it was. It might have been HIV. And they scanned it and converted that into computer code, digitized it, the electromagnetic field. They then transmitted that via the internet from France across the Alps into Italy, which is where another team of scientists were waiting to receive the digitized information about that DNA. Now remember, no DNA, supposedly you cannot run the polymerase chain reaction, the PCR. It will not work, supposedly. Okay, the Italian scientists received this code data from the Montagnier team in France, and then using a solenoid they subjected some sterile distilled water to the code data through the solenoid. So it set up a type of electromagnetic field over the sterile distilled water. As I recall, they allowed that to run for about an hour. I do encourage you to watch that full 1-hour video of Dr. Montagnier's work, however. Then the Italian scientists, after exposing that water, that fluid, which is in this beaker right here, to the data that Dr. Montagnier had sent, they then added polymerase and nucleotides. They did not add any DNA. You can't run this without DNA, supposedly. They did not add any DNA, and yet when they ran this, it produced strands of DNA, 98% identical to the DNA of the, as I say, some kind of pathogen that the Montagnier team had scanned in France. Stunning. I just can't tell you how stunning that is, or maybe you do know. So what's it prove? It proves water has memory, just like the homeopathic doctors have been saying all along. So you remember that our